In today's session, we are going to talk about payroll and payslip management. Uh, so, within the session, we will be talking about the basic prerequisite check needed, the payroll categories we're going to create, the payroll groups we are going to create, how we are going to generate a payslip, how we are going to approve and reject a payslip, and how we are going to generate a payslip report. So these will be the basic setup or the basic functionalities we will be covering in today's session. So let's directly go into the online portal. So once we are in the online portal, the payslip management is basically done by two people within the institute. One is the human resource team, the HR team. The other one is the finance team. So the human resource people are the ones who create the payslips, and the finance team are the ones who are approve the payslip. So let's go into the human resource first. So once we go into the human resources, we can see the payroll and payslip management. This is where all the payroll related activities are done or created and everything of such. So like I previously mentioned, we have to do a prerequisite check, basically allowing us to see if everything is in the right place. So in order to generate a payslip, we have to have employees within the institute. So we have to go under human resources. We can see employee management. We can see different employees. We can admit employees based like this. If an employee is already there, we can search the employee and we can see all the employees within that particular college or institute. So an employee should be present initially in the system in order to generate a payslip for that particular individual. So that is one of the prerequisite we do initially. After that, we have to do certain settings with respect to the payroll. So we have to go into HR, payroll and payslip management. We will go into payslip settings. It is basically to outline what and all details we need when we are generating a payslip. So basically, I'm gonna say I need employee name there, employee number, date of joining. So all these informations is available within the employee profile we initially create when an employee is admitted into the institute. So additional details such as phone number, salary, and NI number. So I'm gonna add national insurance number within the payslip, so we can add additional details, whatever details we need to appear in the payroll, and we can select it up here. And once we save changes, we can even see a sample payslip, how it will look like, the kind of information uh, that will be here. So there will be like start date, end date, till what time, and the amount and everything, etc. This is a sample only. So yeah, let's just close that one and let's jump right into the payroll management. So in order to start a payroll, we have to categorize payroll. It's basically telling us what are the earnings and what are the deductions we are gonna be using in the payroll management. So I have created a payroll category here. So we are gonna make a payroll category called as basic, which is like the basic salary. It is got, we are gonna make a category code for it. We're gonna say if it's an earning or if it's a deduction, and we are gonna type a value for it, how much is the amount. So I have already created one here which is called basic. So if I go in here and view it, you can see all the details. So this is like a basic salary. It's an earning, so its category type is earning. So I have already rounded up to nearest one. So if there is an any kind of decimal points, you can near it up to 0, 1, 2, or 3, or the nearest roundup value which is available by default. You can select that. And yeah, so that is basically the payroll category, creating a payroll category. So initially when I created this payroll, I have given the value as 0. So you must assume so the reason why I have created this as 0, the value as 0, is because it might not be a fixed salary for every individual within the institute. So when we are creating the basic salary, and when we create it with the value of 0, it will allow us to edit it in the future purposes. Like if one person is having a salary of £25,000 and other person is having a salary of £26,000, we can edit the value here when we go into allowance and everything. So that is why we have created the value as 0. If it's a fixed amount, we can always make the value as that fixed amount. For example, I have made a deduction here, which is NIC. So the fixed value is £200. So that is gonna be fixed for everyone within the institute. So we don't need any kind of changes for that. So yeah, and we can also make the in a percentage basis. So for example, I have created, if we go in here and if we're creating a detection, we're gonna say the value type, is it numeric or formula or something like that. If I click on formula, you can even write formulas. So how we are gonna come across the salary, if there is any formula you're using. If there is any conditions with formulas, you can validate all the conditions here. And even if it's a numeric, we can properly write the amount. So so we can select, if it's a numeric value, we can say if it's a fixed amount, we can give that fixed amount here. If it's gonna be a amount that's gonna be changing, we can make it a 0 initially, and when we are generating the payslip, we can define the amount based on the individual and their grades or levels within the institute. So that is basically what payroll category does. So it basically outlines the earnings and deductions that appears in the payroll. What kind of earnings are allowed, what kind of deductions are allowed, things like those. So all these earnings and deductions is generalized. So for example, a person who's like a super teacher or like a teacher with higher ranking might be allowed rent allowance, but a junior teacher might only be allowed basic salary. So these categories are general categories, different type of payroll categories that might appear in the within the payroll. So that is what it just outlined. So it's just creating all the type of payrolls, that is categories that are available to be appeared in one's individual's payroll. So that is what payroll category does. And once we create a payroll category, the next thing we are going to do is we're going to create a payroll groups. So payroll groups is basically allowing us to partition the employees based on the position they hold. So for example, I have created a payroll group name called junior teacher. This will allow us to put together all the junior teachers with similar pay structure into one particular group, and we can define rules for that group. So if we go into create payroll groups, we can put in all the information here. We can say if the payment frequency is monthly, or if it's semi-monthly, or even if it's weekly or daily. What are the frequency, payslip generation date, first day of every month, or what date you want to generate the payslip, and what and all are they allowed to. Like I said, in here I'm just gonna say they allowed only basic salary. So I'm just gonna add it. So junior teachers are allowed only basic salary, and their deduction is almost everything. So yeah, so this rent allowance is not allowed for this particular group. So we can add whatever payroll category this particular group is assigned to, and we can add or remove it based on our needs. So I've already created some junior teachers. We can see. So once we create it, we can just add employees in it. If you click here, we can just add remove or add employees based on this. So if we click on assign employees, we can select them based on wherever the department. We can select them, and we can assign them into that particular group if they are not already assigned. So we can also remove them. We can view their payroll. We haven't generated any kind of pay slips, so this will happen in the next step now. So we can see the category, the department they are in. So all the in this particular institute, all the 4 people which is mentioned here are junior teachers. So their pay slips are gonna be similar. So they are all under this particular group called junior teachers. So that is what basically that's basically why we categorize different payroll based on groups. It just make it very easy when we are applying a certain payroll management, or when we are applying payslip to a particular individuals. It makes very easy if you're going to group them together. So that is what payroll group does. Now we are going to generate a payslip for payroll groups. So we're going to see how we are going to generate a payslip for payroll groups. So I'm gonna go into senior teachers, and I have already defined how many people are there in senior teachers. I have created a group called senior teachers. I have added employees into senior teachers. Now I have to generate payslip for that particular payroll group. So I'm gonna say salary is monthly, so the pay period is gonna be end of September, for example. So I'm gonna say proceed, and we can see payslip not generate, number of employees we have already. So when we click on if you see view employees, we can actually see the employees within the senior group, and we are going to click on generate payslip for all. This will basically generate a payslip for everyone. So payslip is generated for all the employees here. And if we go around and see view payslip, you can actually see the status of the payslip as pending, because the HR people or the human resource people can only generate payslip. Financial team are the ones who are gonna approve payslips. So we can view payslip, we can get a PDF report, we can see the net salary and everything associated with it, and we can see the departments, the employee numbers, etc. So those are that's what this particular payroll group does. So we're going to generate payroll or payslip to an entire group. So we can also do that to we can generate payslip for employees as well. Instead of doing it in a group, we can do it into an employee as well. So I'm gonna go around, and these are the all the employees present within the institute. So I'm gonna go in and generate a payslip for a junior teacher called Richard. So I'm gonna go in here and generate payslip, and this will give me the dates in which we can select which month of it. This is September 2021. This is the information position that particular individual hold. it's a monthly salary. So like I said, initially when we started, we have given the basic as 0. So this is what I was talking about. So we can customize the basic earning based on what they're getting. And once we and this will automatically comes in. I'll show you in details, in depth, like how it is done. So once when we click on generate payslip, that particular payslip is generated for that individual. If we can view payslip after that, and we can see this is also pending because it's with the financial team. So that is how we generate payslip for an individual employee. So I will show you one thing with respect to the payroll groups, payroll employees, that I feel we initially kind of missed. If we go into, give me a second. Let me just see in which tab it's gonna be in. Yeah. So yeah, so the I'll just come back to it once everything is like, once we finish everything, we will just come back to that if we are missing out, miss out on anything. So that's we see how we create payroll categories. We see how we create payroll groups. We see how we generate payslip for payroll groups. We have seen how we have generated payslip for employees as well. Now we can see how we are gonna reject a payslip, but in order to reject a payslip, we need to approve a payslip first. We cannot reject something which is not already approved. So it's just like I mentioned previously, all the payslip approvals are done by financial teams. So if you go under administration, if you go under finance, we can actually see a financial control where there is something called as employee payslip management. So if we click on here, we can see a tab called approve payslip, basically approving or rejecting payslips. So we can see they haven't approved any of it. There are 6 pending here. So if we go into that particular one, we can see junior teachers. They have 3 or 4 payslip generated. 3 is pending. So if we click on here, we can view the employees, the amount that is pending to them. So I'm gonna go in here. I'm gonna view payslip, and I can approve or reject it here. So I'm gonna go in and say every details are right. This particular person has we can even see the number of days they were absent here. So this particular person took 2 days leave. It is from their paid leave. So there's no loss of pay here. So the total basic salary for this particular individual is 2,500. There is all these deduction that's coming in. Is it in the right format? And once everything is in the right format, we just approve it, and the payslip is generated and approved for Jason. The same way, we're gonna approve the payslip for another individual as well. We're gonna see all the details up here, and we're gonna approve or reject it. Yes, approve it. So in here, Richard, we can see the net salary is different from other employees, which means there might be something with respect to his payslip that is different. So in here, I can actually see his earnings as is given as 1,333. So we will go around and see why that is defined like that, because he is under the junior teacher position. So if there is any kind of reason why he is having a low level salary, or So the financial team will run down and see if there is any errors made. So I'm gonna for the time being, I'm just gonna reject this remark incorrect generated, and I'm gonna reject payslip. So I'm gonna reject payslip for Richard. So that is how we are gonna approve and reject payslip from a financial team perspective. And so once that is done, we will just run down to the administration tab, and we can see all the details up here. So if I go in here, rejected payslip, I can see the rejected payslip, Richard's payslip, which is rejected, incorrect payslip generation. That is a remark which is given here. We can edit or delete payslips here, and then we can send it for approval again. So that is basically what that's basically how we're going to approve and reject payslip. So once the payslip is approved, we can generate payslips reports as well. So we can select it based on departments. So we're going to say academic from this particular month. So for the month of September, from 1st of September to end of September, we are going to view all the payslip which is generated in the system. We can say there is 2 approved, there's 1 pending and 1 rejected. So if we're going to generate a PDF report here, so this will basically give you the total number of payslip generated, or employees, total salary, approved salary. So all the detailed informations will be given out here. So that is what payslip report does. The payslip report can be viewed by employee as well. So there are different ways in which we can generate a report. Is it payroll category wise report or employee payslip report? So if I'm going to click on employee pay wise report, so I'm going to select a particular employee here, and then we can actually see his report here. So this is the payslip details for Jason, who is a academic, who's a junior teacher. So this is the payslip details, and we can download on the report as well. We can view report as well. So that is how we see reports based on different criteria, employee, payroll category wise, overall estimate reports, etc. So all the reports that payslip generate, payslip related activities can be seen here, can be viewed here, can be saved here. So that is what advanced payslip report does. That basically kind of covers everything that we set out to be. So if for example, this is what I was talking to you about, so if you want to add or change any kind of information with respect to this particular group or any of it, we can edit it or remove it here. So if we go into the payroll groups, and if we go into edit up here, we can add or change any kind of payroll related activities, but for that particular group. If an individual, for example, from what I could see, the individual who is called Richard was rejected the payslip. So we will see his payslip why he was rejected. Since this was rejected, there's nothing to show up in here, so we have to generate a payslip for him again, and we're gonna say it says payslips has already generated for the employee for selected pay rate. So since there is an already a payslip generated, we have to go into the HR team, the payslip management. We can see the rejected payslip, and we can edit the payslip up here, and then we can see all the details. So if we are gonna put the details of, so this is the detail that was gone wrong for Aaron. So if I'm gonna put the basic pay like normal, and if I click on this, it will automatically calculate all the details up here, and this will give you a better understanding. So now all his information is synced and same as all other people within the within that particular group. So if I click on generate payslip here, the payslip generated to Richard, and now we can just approve or reject it. So if you go on to the finance team again, and if you go on the payslip management and payslip for payroll groups, or payslip for employees, and we can see Richard up here, use payslip. We can see, so this is pending up here. So if we go into approve payslip, we can see it's for pending up here. We're gonna click on the particular month. He's a junior teacher, so we're gonna go and see view payslip, and Richard's payslip is again pending. So we view payslip here. All the information is right now. So we're gonna approve it, approve payslip, and this is payslip is approved for Richard. So that's how we edit a rejected payslip. We edit, put all the right information. We send it back again to the finance team, and they look into the information again, and they approve or reject it. And once it's approved, that will be the salary will be then debited to the particular employee. So that's what basically payroll management does. Or so I guess we kind of cover everything we set out to do in the session. So if you have any kind of clarification, or if you didn't understand any kind of topic, just get back to me, and we will talk in depth about it. So thank you very much. Yeah, everyone have a good day.